It's a beautiful sunny September day and I'm here in the greenhouse, which is a bit of a mess now. We're coming to the end of the growing season, especially for the cucumbers. So today I'm going to give it a bit of a tidy up and hopefully show you what it looks like before and afterwards. I've got my wide angle mode on to help show you things, and as you can see, the tomato jungle is still growing pretty strong. It looks like the blight that affected my outdoor tomatoes didn't quite take hold indoors. I've been holding off on watering these guys, so hopefully by keeping it a bit drier, that's helped keep it at bay. But I'm still waiting for these big, beautiful fruits to ripen. This is the main focus for today. It's this bed here. You can see my beautiful wooden trellis again. And all of these are just the leaves of the cucumber vine. The huge yellow things you can see here and there are actually cucumbers that I've left to ripen. I'm hoping to save my own seed from them. This one might be ready to open up today, so I might have a go at that later. But here's the soil down here. This is what we're looking at. It's pretty good. I managed to protect things by putting newspapers and magazines down, so the soil itself hasn't been exposed to direct sun, which should have kept in lots of nutrients, lots of carbon, lots of goodies. There are a few weeds here and there, like this one needs to come out, that one needs to come out. And if we look over here to the potting area, we've got a problem with a bindweed invasion again. The bench is looking pretty messy too, so I should probably tidy that. But today I just want to focus on the bed. So what I'm going to do is collect all of the fruits and leave them on the side to ripen. Take out the weeds and the leftover vines. Top up the soil. I'm just going to put stuff on top of these bits of paper. The paper will start to just form layers. It's kind of like lasagna mulching. You have layers of stuff like paper and cardboard, and then you have layers of leaves and compost and whatever, and we're just building up a nice nutrient profile in the soil. The most important thing with greenhouse growing is not letting the soil die over winter. A lot of people think that you don't have to do anything with your soil over winter, so they'll quite often grow things in the greenhouse from like March to October and then just let the soil completely dry out over winter. That's not a great thing to do. You want to keep your soil living and healthy with lots of microorganisms in there. They need water, but actually the best way to keep them alive and kicking is by having stuff growing in there. So I'm going to plant, I've got one kale plant that I'm going to put in, and I might try and get some seeds growing as well in this greenhouse over winter. Also, apologies, but the aeroplane noise is really bad today and it's quite hard to film around, so I think we're just going to have to deal with it today. This is the Japanese variety. They tend to be very, very long and skinny. I've let these get a bit fat. This one has horrible spines all over it. They're quite spiky, and so are the vines, so I'm probably going to wear gloves for most of this operation. Right, I'm going to get on all of these fruits and put them to one side. I've got a couple that look like this, where they've gone like pale at one end, but they're still quite green at the other. So let's test how bitter it is. It's a really strong cucumber flavour, but not actually that bitter. So, I think maybe with some vinegar on top it would be great, so can't be that bad if I'm going back for another bite, unless that's on instinct. Cool. The green ones I'm gonna take to the kitchen. If you look at the quality of my soil in this greenhouse, this is beautiful. It's really alive and rich and dark. That's what greenhouse soil should be like. It shouldn't just be like brown dust. You know, that kind of like chalky fine dust that gets up your nose. No, it should be protected and mulched and kept dark. This is a little dry in a few areas, but I am going to give it a really good soak just now after I put the new mulch layers on. So the bed's looking good now. All the cucumber vines have gone. I've draped this poor tomato here. It's got a kink in it. I've draped this across the trellis so that I can use that now. I'm going to come in with some scissors and give all of these tomato plants a pretty hefty prune in terms of leaves, because again, that's going to open up lots of circulation, which will help stop the blight. We have got a good number of fruits going on here. Look at these lovely heirloom style tomatoes. Now I'm just going to give everything a really good soak all over. And the reason I'm doing this now rather than when the mulch is on is that I want the water to penetrate really deeply and really get down into those lower layers. I've not watered in here for probably over a month. The weather's been really bad and the cucumbers had come to the end of their life anyway. So this is just going to help make sure that that soil is in really good fighting fit capacity before I mulch it. Take a look at my compost. It's the only one I got. So my mom loves to put any and all things into the compost. So we have quite a lot of woody bits in here, which are all like trimmings from trees in the garden and stuff. So when it's time to dig it out, all I do is shove that over into the next bay. And then it's the future's problem. I think 1 barrow load is going to be enough in terms of compost. Because if you think about it, what we're doing is mimicking what happens in nature, where you have annuals and you have leaves from trees and they break down and they just form a mulch on top. So the actual rate of soil growth in nature is minute. It's like millimeters a year. This is going to get spread out a bit more, but we'll have a nice layer, maybe ½ centimeter, 5 mil or so deep. And then I'm going to top it with another layer of mulch. I haven't decided if I'm going to use paper or leaves. Probably leaves on this one in here, because in the greenhouse there's no worry about them blowing away. Time for a lunch break, I think. What do you think? Got a leaf stuck to her. This is our leaf pile. I was hoping that they'd be a little more rotted in the middle, but they're not. I think it stays a bit too dry because it's under this tree. But also these leaves are quite a waxy leaf. They're mainly the leaves off our strawberry tree, which is by the deck, and it's just quite a waxy leaf. But I still think they'll work okay as a mulch. Here's a rose chafer beetle grub. Hooray! So these make a really beautiful adult beetle. It's all iridescent. It's very pretty. And they live in dead wood and piles of debris and stuff like that. Not quite as big as a stag beetle baby. Might have got a bit carried away with the leaves. It's a bit deep. There's quite a lot of leaf in there. I think it's going to be fine. These are going to break down. They're going to make a really beautiful brown crumbly soil. We're really boosting the soil nutrients that are in here. For years and years and years, this greenhouse just wasn't really used at all. So the soil was allowed to like sort of die. It wasn't getting a lot of nutrients and things like that. So really adding in this organic matter is the best way to build up that soil. It's what I've been trying to do across the whole garden, and the greenhouse is no exception. That little robin dude over there was just in the greenhouse trying to shuffle through the leaves and the mulch looking for worms, and we just had a bit of a hairy moment where I came in and he got stuck and was hitting windows, but I think he's okay. Little dude. I think he's okay. My watering can is full of snails. Well, there's a little one on the outside, but actually inside there's some snaily friends. The soil has been fed with the compost and it's under a beautiful blanket of leaves now to keep it safe over winter from being degraded. So now all I'm going to do is pop this little kale plant that I've still got left over from spring actually in the ground. That's going to be in here over winter. Kale doesn't need to overwinter in the greenhouse. It is cold hardy, but by keeping it in here it's going to keep pesky wood pigeons off it. Okay, so that's my greenhouse all ready for winter in terms of the bed and the soil. I've still got all this tidying up to do, but I'm not going to do that today because I cannot be bothered. I'm really happy. This is going to be great soil in here, and hopefully this little kale is going to help keep that soil alive. The tomatoes have still got ripening to do. I hope these last few sunny days over the next month or so are gonna keep producing tomatoes so we can finally have some from this garden. So yeah, I hope you found this helpful, and I hope that you look after your greenhouse this winter and make sure that soil stays healthy. Take care and I'll see you next time.